Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Tea Rights. It is I, Jax, your cryptid fantasy author, as in I don't really participate as much as I should. But how are all of you out there in YouTube/Blue Skyland? If this is your first time ever seeing a Tea Rights, I don't blame you. I don't advertise very well. I know, I'll stop with the self-depreciating humor in just a second. But it's a chill writing chat, and I will tell you a little secret. It's best experienced if you click that link. Assuming that you're viewing this on Blue Sky, I would highly suggest clicking that link because that will take you directly into our chat. The chat is open and it's very free. All you have to do is sign up for YouTube or however YouTube comments work, and then say whatever you'd like, so long as it doesn't violate YouTube DOS or make people uncomfortable. I will read those comments aloud and respond to them, and that is the social part of our little endeavor. If you're shy, and I don't blame you, because writers tend to be shy, hello, then I do have an icebreaker. You will see it on your screen on the very left. Today's icebreaker is it's just a simple writing question. They all are, but today's is favorite part of writing, and this can be interpreted however you like. It could be a favorite stage of writing, or it could just be that favorite vibe that you just hit. For example, mine is whenever I hit that right bit, whenever you just kind of take off and end up writing until 3 a.m. even though you swore up and down that you would be in bed by 11. Happens. That having been said, you can answer that in chat. I will read your response out loud and respond to it. Other people, you are very lucky. Saturday morning tea writes tend to be a little bit more social than our companion night writes on Wednesday nights. So you will have a bunch of very nice people responding to your response as well. Don't be shy, by the way. They are super cool. In 30 minutes, because we like to spend the first 30 minutes of this stream just shooting the breeze in order to let people trickle in, 30 minutes from now, you will hit the very first of our 3 to 4 word sprints. If you've never heard of a word sprint, it's no problem. These things are kind of like terminology for the writing communities, but word sprints are moments of productivity, just long spans. Ours are 20 minutes, as you can also see on the left side of your screen. They're 20 minutes when you do absolutely anything that you can in order to get your manuscript a little bit closer to that finish line. Now, ours are a little bit looser in terms of terminology, in terms of definition, I mean. Technically, you're supposed to be doing words, so basically that means you're writing. At the very end, you would talk about your word count. However, for us, that can be editing, that can be brainstorming. Doesn't even have to be writing related at all. I like to consider self-care as an important part of our writing routine. So I allow folks to do whatever they like, even if it's eat breakfast, hello, good morning, or if it's taking a little nap, chilling out, vibing. I've had people do laundry during these. Whatever you feel is productive to you, use those 20 minutes to do it. Now, at the end of these 20 minutes, we will take a 15-minute break. That is a break for you to get up and do whatever you need to in order to just stretch your legs and rest. For me, it is a moment where I talk. Oftentimes that's a rant. I do apologize if it gets very political. I tend to ramble about whatever in order to encourage you to get up and walk around. At the end of those 15 minutes, we will take another 20 minutes to do another sprint, and this repeats for again 3 or 4 times. Normally on Tea Rights we go for 4. We're gonna see how it goes today because today's gonna be a little bit special. I do have a full menu of things to do today, I'm afraid. Uh, I'm not sure if any of you have heard the news, but a blizzard is coming to the northeast where I am. For those of you who don't know, I'm in New York City. It's I wouldn't say it's the greatest city in the world, but it is a city. It's a city that you probably know of. But in any case, nor'easter is coming in later on tonight / tomorrow, and that means scrambling to get things done. I do have a grocery order coming in today. I've got meds to pick up. Just making sure that everything is, all my ducks are square in rows so that all I have to do tomorrow is veg out, get some cocoa, and rest with my little pal Benjamin. Also, for those of you who don't know, Benjamin, the little dude you see in all of the Night Rates and Tea Rates promo pics, is my pet plush bee, because I'm not allowed to have dogs or cats in this apartment. But also, you know, he's my best friend and best buddy. And he says hello. Though it sounds like bzz bzz. But in any case, yeah, tomorrow I just plan on chilling, but today it's just scrambling. But we'll see how many. We might even do a full 4 rounds. It really depends on how close we get to the 1:30 mark, because I have to walk to the pharmacy, and the pharmacy closes at 1:30 for lunch, which is bad. But in any case, to the chat, we have Gabe and Taisha in right now. Those are 2 T-Rates regulars, among 2 of them anyway. Hopefully we'll see more familiar faces trickle in. But Gabe says, good morning. Got news this morning that a blizzard is saying screw you, Gabe's County in particular, starting tomorrow, LMAO. Taisha says, good morning, Jax. And Gabe, how much snow is expected? Gabe says, read blizzard news just in time for the snow to have finally all melted down here too. Yeah, yep. That's also why I'm getting my grocery order in today, because, like, fun fact, I live on parking is a rarity in New York City in general. So if you're ordering and both sides of the streets are covered in mountains of snow, that's going to be a little bit difficult. So I am stocking up for weeks at ahead. There are perishables, non-perishables, all of the ibbles in there. But yeah, it's going to be fun. And mountains of snow are going to be excellent. And nobody in this neighborhood salts before blizzards come, so it's going to be even better. Like, on the one hand, I'm glad that this winter is cold. Because, I don't know, it's like, I know this isn't how climate change works, but for me it's sort of like, oh yay, something that I remember, it's cold again. But on the other hand, I'm very much ready for winter to be a little bit milder, / spring to be coming back in. So, you know, we'll all survive, I'm sure. But it's going to be rough times. I hope that you're well prepared, Gabe, in that I wouldn't say that it this is going to be a fun Saturday for all of us on the Eastern Seaboard. But I hope that you're going to be a-okay during the storm, and that you have everything all set and prepared as well. But yeah, to Taisha, I don't remember how many inches. I do know that it is a proper nor'easter, which means gusts and a shit ton of snow and fucking icy ass temperatures. So it's really the gusts that the gales that everybody's worried about, because with high powered winds, you have a high likelihood that power is going to be knocked out. Now, for me, it's sort of like the worst that'll happen is that I can't cook. I do have plenty of ways to keep myself warm. This is also a pre-war building, so it's not electric heat. But, you know, a lot of other people aren't quite as lucky. So, if you're also in the Eastern Seaboard, stay safe and stay warm. Make sure you have blankets, make sure you have food, make sure that you have everything that you need. Gabe says, or Taisha says, gusts are hard because they make those big snowdrifts too. Yep. Gabe says, context the NJ weather map is really funny because it's only saying that it's going to be horrible centered right on my county. The rest of the state is also going to be bad, but much worse in coastal counties. Yeah. That sounds about right. I mean, genuinely too, nor'easters tend to be a little bit rougher towards bodies of water, so you know, we're all bracing ourselves. And best of luck to the rest of the city. I shouldn't say that though, because like, I will say this: Mamdani is already getting his ass tested, and the last one was rough. So we're going to see how people fare in this one. Like, I had seen earlier today this article about folks who are less fortunate and who found themselves in the last one, and it was quite depressing. So it's going to be a rough time either way, but one way or another, one way or another, you know, we'll just have to, I don't know, we'll just have to, I guess, face it. But yeah. I mean, it's not really anything to be afraid of. It is weather, I guess. It just kind of is. But yeah, it's a nor'easter, and it's gonna suck so bad. I don't know. There's no way for me to phrase that in a way that's not weird, and I do apologize for that. But anyway, storyteller Sab comes in, and hello. Popping in for the first time. Good morning, Jackson others. Hello. Welcome. And let us know what you'd like to be called, because I'm pretty sure a storyteller SAB is not what you'd like to be called, unless storyteller is a-okay. But yes, hello. Welcome. And I promise that the rest of the stream isn't as depressing as what I just said whenever you walked in. I apologize. Gabe says, at least if our governor shuts down NJ Transit again, I'd have proper excuses not to be at work. LOL. And good morning. Depending on where you work, Gabe, you already did, considering the fact that NJ Transit was like, we're going to work on the trains, and if you commute, go fuck yourselves. Storyteller says, I'm Sherry Baklar. Sherry's fine. Welcome. Taisha says, hello, Sherry. Nice to meet you. I would like to second that nice to meet you. It's always a delight to see new faces in here. But yes, welcome. Yeah, we are currently talking about the nor'easter that's rolling in. I think it's tomorrow. The forecast is saying it's going to be solidly tomorrow. But Sherry says, I love that you said my last name correctly. You're welcome. But also, I'm delighted too, because I just kind of took a wild guess. But yes, absolutely. I am delighted to do that for you. But in any case, yeah, we are currently talking about. We can talk about whatever else. We do have the icebreaker that's currently up, and it's I might have said this earlier in the stream, but it is basically just favorite part of the writing. That can be the favorite step of writing, like editing or plotting or whatnot, or it can be just like vibes. Like mine is hitting a perfect stride, like that one chef's kiss moment, wherever you just can't stop writing. But otherwise, we are talking about getting soon to be Gabe and I are probably going to be holed up in our respective domiciles, bracing against gale force winds and snow, and it's going to be the second time in 2 months. But I would say welcome to winter, but this winter has been this I feel like this, not calendar year, but like at least since last winter, that span of time, it has been a wild time in terms of weather. Like we're talking gales quite frequently. Um, I'm not sure if that's climate change or we're just experiencing a weird year, a weird year of weather. But either way, it's been rough, and tomorrow is going to be rough. So if you're also on the Eastern Seaboard, 100% try to seek out shelter, please. And, bunker down in shelter. Do not be weird and go out during gale force winds and blizzards. It is not a winter wonderland, my dudes. It is going to be cold as balls. You will get mild frostbite. Stay indoors. Sherry says, I am out west and we have had almost zero snow this year. I do have to say that it does freak me out a little bit that you say that. Like, Taisha is also kind of westward. Taisha would be more happy to talk about it, I'm sure. But when we were enduring winter temperatures, she was like, "Yeah, it's 65." I'm like, "That's wrong, incorrect. I'm sorry, objectively." Taisha says, Jax, I was going to give a terrible answer to the icebreaker and say the publishing, but for real, that probably that moment when you're near the end of the first draft and realize it'll all come together. That is an incredible moment too. Like that satisfaction that all this time that you spent, like late nights at typing or late night writing sessions and headaches over plot holes and whatnot, that it's all kind of coming together and into a coherent story. And Taisha says, Sherry, I'm over in Colorado and similar. Okay, so Taisha did go on. My bad. Taisha says, have had very, very little snow. Less snowpack than we've had in 20 plus years. I want some snow. Please take some of our snow and gales. Like, balance it out. Gabe says, icebreaker. My favorite part of writing is whenever I successfully get the perfect emotional response for a tear-jerking scene. If I cry, it's a success. Also, this session I'm going to be working on assets for Wispit. Oh, yes. So first off, 100% that is also a really satisfying moment. Like, I love reading emotional scenes and scenes that just hit the heart just right. And when you write it, like when you're responsible for your own emotions, that's such a good part too. Such a good response. And also, good. Thank you for the reminder. Wispit, for those of you who don't know, actually, let me walk through what Wispit is. So on Blue Sky, there is a tag called uh, whip snips. So it's WIPSNIPS. So it's whip snips. And it is a daily writing prompt wherein you're given a word and you're supposed to search for that word or the vibe slash synonym to that word in your manuscript, and you post wherever it's located. So, for example, if your word is ice, you either search for ice or you search for cold, you search for snow, anything related to ice, and then you take a little bit of a screenshotty or a little bit of copy paste of that wherever that word occurs, and you post it in the tag. It's a lot of fun. A lot of community. There's a lot of community that goes into it. I keep on falling in and out of it, but I do love it and I do miss it. I love all you guys. It is a great way to get into the writing community if you're new to Blue Sky. So definitely check it out. But they also hold a pitch event. Separate definition here. A pitch event is when you craft, it's an event in which authors craft pitches for their event, like one tweet, one skeet pitches, and they post that along with some visuals to a tag and respond to each other. It's a whole big thing. It got started on Twitter when authors would do this for industry people. So there would be agents and small presses who would view these tags, and they would be specifically on the hunt for new talent and new voices to publish. And anytime they would interact with the post, the idea was that you would take those interactions and essentially form the to-do list for who to pitch to. In recent years, however, a lot of the industry has gotten burned out by pitch events, so you don't actually see a lot of industry activity. Now and then you might see like an agent be like, hey, yeah, hi, if I like your post, go send me your query, but that's very rare these days, which is why we all get excited when we get an industry, which when we get an industry like, which is when a like happens to one of our pitches that happens to be from an agent. With those two definitions in mind, both whip snips and pitch events, Wispit is whip snips hype event. So a hype event is a special type of pitch event that's not geared towards industry. It's actually geared towards authors. The idea for the hype events is you participate them in order to get a confidence boost, because you're putting your idea out in front of multiple eyes, and people respond to your idea. They like your post, they repost your post, they comment on your post, and it's a good time held by all. Quick note, if you're going to participate in Whipsnit, or in this pitch event, Wispit, the common courtesy is to interact with other authors' posts, not just post your own. So, all of this in mind, Wispit is happening on February 25th. So, February 25th, all day, I do believe it's all day your time, midnight to midnight. Go check out Whipsnips. There is a Whipsnips account. They will have rules. Go read the rules. And then put together your pitches and prepare. I'm going to be lazy this Wispit. I am participating, but I'm going to be lazy about it. I will admit that, because I have two really good pitches for Blue that I did for Blue Pit. I love the visuals already, so I'm reusing the visuals absolutely. Bohemia had a really good pitch that hasn't really changed since I outlined the thing, so that's going to be reused. I might tweak TNS's pitch a little bit, but other than that, it's probably going to be very similar. So basically, I'm ready. All I need to do is buffer both of those, and good time shall be had by all. But that having been said, back to the chat. Sherry says, my favorite part of writing is when a scene just comes together and I get chills and have to get up and dance around. I am delighted that you get up and dance around. Yes, absolutely. It is good to be very enthusiastic and very excited about your work. 100%. I am thrilled whenever a writer says that they have gotten that excited about their work. I love it. Also, cheers for really getting the spirit, all three of you, for getting the spirit of this question. I just really wanted to do a very positive icebreaker for today. Um, so it has been very warm and fuzzy, and I'm very thrilled. That having been said, it is also 8:57. We're going to begin our first of 3 to 4 word sprints in just a moment. But first, tell us a little bit about what you're working on. Just 1 second while I wait for you to respond. Anyway, while you guys are responding, my project that you will see on kind of sort of on screen. Recently, I had read that it's probably for the best, especially if you're self-publishing, but also if you're querying, to not show everything that you're writing. So I have put on a blur filter. Seems to be working a-okay so far. So you can kind of see like words are happening, but you can't actually see what those words are. So in any case, the blurry blobs that you see on your screen on the right is my soon-to-be debut, fingers crossed, the nameless song, which, to put in short, is a work in progress about a guy who turns into a dragon. Actually, this will be a fun time to test out that pitch. Let's see. There it is. Oh, I do have to tweak it a little bit because the pitch is Final Fantasy XIV meets I got reincarnated as a slime, Tensora. And the actual pitch is when Luckless Smick agrees to be his best friend Eleanor's adventuring partner, he expects to keep her safe, not be turned into a divine dragon. That means that he's getting turned into a divine dragon. We will fix that for this pitch. Now he and Eleanor must face his mission to lead a war against the gods, but is destiny as inevitable as it seems? In other words, the main character is a trickster and also does not want to fight in a war for obvious reasons. He is not a soldier, war hasn't been seen in his kingdom for 400 years, and quite frankly, these gods are petty and he has no patience for this. So he will be doing everything that he can to get out of not leading a war, and in fact, preventing the war from even happening. Sherry says, I giggled when I saw that you were writing about a man who turns into a dragon because my work in progress has a dragon polymorphed into a man. High five. There's just something that hits about transformations involving dragons on either end. Especially if it is not intentional and difficult to undo. But anyway, Taisha says, today I'll continue editing my debut novel about 80% through. Good luck! Sci-fi hope punk novel about my caring protagonist trying to help aliens open a zoo, evacuate plants, and save humanity. I fucking love hope punk. There needs to be more hope punk. It is a new genre and needs to be populated like hell. So yes, I am here for it. And Itchy says, early morning, lizard. Hello and welcome. Happy Saturday. It is 9:01, so I will finish up the chat and then we will get into our usual exercises and our first sprint. Tasha says, I do love transformation stories. Wrote a flash fiction piece about a woman who turns into a dragon to save her poor peasant family. Hopefully that involved a lot of burning. Because when you say peasant, I instantly think uprising, but hells yeah. Anyway, it is 9:01, so back straight in your chairs. Deep breath in, my dudes. And out. One more time for all of us. And back out. Shake out those wrists. Crack those fingers. And 20 minutes are on the clock. Best of luck. Get ready. Get set. And here we go. All right, that is the first of our series of sprints. How did we do? I only got 270 words, which is a little bit under, I know, but hopefully the next couple I'll pick up the pace a little bit. It's just starting another chapter, and it is writing from straight scratch. So it is what it is. In other words, slow starts are to be expected. I might have gotten a teeny tiny bit distracted doing a tiny bit of research. I needed to know. I needed to know what pink gemstones were out there for description reasons. That is my excuse. But in any case, how did all of you do? Gabe says vetting images is so exhausting. Yeah, that's why I don't really do. Whenever I use or I create new images, I don't bother going for Google searches or Pinterest or anything like that. I just go straight for Unsplash or Free Pick for assets or now and then Pexels. They all have options to exclude AI, but all of them are basically royalty free for personal use, uh, which technically these pitch event graphics are personal use, so they do count. And it's so much easier because you have the credit right there, and you know that they're okay to use, and you know that they're AI free for the, or at least you can filter out AI. You won't always get the aesthetics that you're hoping for, but with some tweaking, you can make it work. But that having been said, Tasha says, got good editing done on 2 pages, and hubby brought in much needed coffee. That is an excellent hubby. I am delighted that you got coffeeed up. Gabe says, I do think I have most of the assets I need for this first pitch, though. Heck yeah. Sherry says, I'm working on my Whispit. I spent most of the first sprint arguing with my hound dog and petting the cat, but making progress. Little by little, little by little in terms of progress. As long as there's progress, as long as you do a little bit, that is still good. But also, self-care is also progress. So petting is therapy, which means that you are in a better mindset to tackle other things. So I am still all for this. Tasha says, Jax, can you share how you made the awesome anime you use for the write-in? My kids adore it, by the way. I will admit that this is actually not something that I made. It is a quote-unquote game that you can find on Steam called Spirit City Lo-Fi Sessions. There are actually a number of it calls itself a productivity suite, which is accurate. It has all these visuals. It's very customizable. You can customize your character. In fact, let me just bring up the full UI. You will not see everything because I'm too lazy to actually I'm too lazy to unveil everything. Oh, and of course it is too large to fit on the screen. Hold on, let me see if I can change this a little bit and just sort of shift it up. But yeah, you can see all of the tools down there, and you can adjust it however you'd like. You have customizable options for locations. It also has the bedroom feature that you might have seen in some of the streams. You have decorations that you can do. All of this that you see here can be customized, including the little companion that you have. You have wardrobe to customize your character, who is basically, you can't customize the body type, unfortunately. However, you can customize skin, you can customize ears, hair, clothing, whatever you'd like. You have activity, which means that your little guy can do a number of different things. For example, if I want to switch it up a little bit, this is my little guy writing. And sometimes your companion can also partake. That is my little guy reading, along with my little bee. That is, well, you can't really see because the graphic is in the way. I'm too lazy to hide the graphic. But there you go. And it is, I do believe, the base game, which gives you only the bedroom. And you can see it in other streams. In the earlier streams I did on this channel, I did start off in the bedroom. Uh, so I do believe the base game is about $20. But it's very cheap. It has DLC. The train is a DLC. It also has a kitchen themed DLC, which I've also used in at least one stream. So yeah, go and check it out. And there's a garden themed one that's coming out soonish. They say that it's going to be a couple months, but we'll see. To skip all the way down to what Sherry said at the very end, it is called Spirit City. So Spirit, as in ghost, City, Lo-Fi Sessions. So Spirit City Lo-Fi Sessions. And this is just one productivity suite. There are numbers of them. This one is my favorite, I do believe. Well, it's the only one that I actually have because I like the visuals the best. But if you want a more cartoony look, there's one I think is called Van Gogh. There are ones that are more anime themed, even more anime themed than this. There are ones that are less anime themed. There's a whole bunch of them out there. So definitely choose your own. Whatever, choose your favorite, and you can set stuff up like this as well. And one good thing about a lot of these is they also come with incentives. So there are, of course, incentives. For example, you can establish habits. You can establish, or you can use the Pomo timer, which we are using right now. There are to-do lists. There's a place where you can journal. But also, in Spirit City, the longer you spend, the more tickets you earn, which means that the more customizable options you can buy. A lot of these items cost in-game currency. So the idea is you spend time just vibing or having this in the background while you work, and you generate currency to use on items. You can also capture different spirits. The bee is only one. It is my favorite for obvious reasons, but there are a number of companions. I have gotten all but one, but basically with Spirit City is it's a little puzzle game. So you have a thing called the Spirit Dex, and in the Spirit Dex it will give you hints. Let me actually show you the Spirit Dex. I will actually drag and drop this anyway because I've shifted this around to something else that I like. But this is the Spirit Dex, and you can see all the ones that I've captured so far. And over here, this is kind of hidden, but it gives you a little bit of a cute little rhyme, and you have to change your backdrop and the sounds that you hear. Sometimes even your spirit companions, for example, Wispwing is actually a subset of the bee. So I had to equip the bee and set this to night and go on the train and adjust the sound to something specific, and then it'll start attracting spirits. And after a certain period of time, that spirit will come to you and you can capture it. And capturing is just basically you click a button. But yeah, that is Spirit City in a nutshell. It incentivizes being productive, and it is a delight. that I highly recommend. But yeah, like I said, only about $20 on Steam. Let's see. There we go. Go back. It's under activity, full view. And there we go. Boop. Alright, there we go. Anyway, that is, again, it's called Spirit City Lo-Fi Sessions. Go check it out. Itchy says, all hail Pixabay. Hell yeah. Just be careful whenever you're using it. If you're, a lot of the events are very anti-AI, as personally I think they should be, because in creative spaces, AI has no place in creative spaces. I could go on, but we only have 4 minutes left to talk about this. But just be careful. Make sure that you filter out all the AI images. But it is a good place to start if you're looking for assets. I definitely like it, especially like if you're going for more of not photo vibe. So that is where I got a lot of my design filaments and whatnot, because I'm not an artist. I am at most I quote unquote graphic designer. And I say quote unquote because I have barely any actual training. But I slap images together to make pretty, which means I am shit at generating my own. But Pixabay has been Pixabay and FreePic actually. FreePic is what I usually use. Now that I think about it, I don't know why I said Pixabay. But both of them are very handy. They come with a variety of different aesthetics, and you can filter out AI, which I highly recommend you do when you do that. Taisha says, sorry, the awesome animated background. Totally cool. Itchy says, waiting for Aiden to bring me coffee. It's been 3 weeks. Aiden's a lazy ass. You can tell him that I said that. No, I'm kidding. Don't. Gabe says, thankfully, I do have some graphic design knowledge, so I can finagle for basic touch-ups. Totally cool. Hell yeah. Sherry says, very true, re self-care. Cryptic. Cryptic has walked in. Cryptic says, hello, body forced me to wake up an hour early, so I'm hanging out over breakfast day. How's everyone doing? You have come at a delightful time. Sherry says Steam has it, meaning Spirit City Lo-Fi Sessions, on sale now for $7.19 USD. Then absolutely, that's a fantastic, fantastic buy. Go and run to Steam and go get yourself a copy of Spirit City. You can get the DLC later. Uh, if you like train settings and or kitchen settings, you can get them, but you don't necessarily need them. The bedroom is just as cozy, but I kind of like to collect monsters, and I like additional incentives. So each DLC does give you more monsters and more things to buy and more activities to do. So they are literal expansions, and I personally think that they're worth it, but they're not necessary. So go get yourself the base game, quote unquote. Go do it. Itchy says, "Ha." In that case, yes, absolutely. Where are they anyway? No, I'm kidding. It is. It would be 8:35 where they are, so probably they're in bed. So don't bother Aiden, or bother him. I don't know. It would be funny. Just poke him and see what happens. Drag him in. It would be the earliest I've ever seen those two. Aiden, Callisto, I mean. Callisto might kill you. I can definitely see her killing you. Anyway, minute warning call, my dudes. We are less than a minute away from the next sprint. Itchy says, has not stopped me before. Fair enough. What, Callisto killing you has not stopped you before? Excellent. But yeah, I'm delighted to introduce more people to Spirit City. It is a vibe for sure. It is such a simple thing, but it really helps whenever days are particularly difficult to get into, because I just want to be lazy. I just pop this on and distract and keep myself from doing YouTube all day. It's great. Uh, Itchy says slash flex. Do it. Wake them up. Wake them up. Anyway, we are starting in on our next 20-minute sprint. Good luck, my dudes. I am going silent as we write. All right, that is the second of our sprints. How did we do? I admit I pulled out bits of an earlier draft, so so the word count here is a little bit fudge, but 518 words of mixed, new generation, and editing. But how did everybody else do? Itchy apparently has bowed out, unfortunately. But other than that, I'm also kind of like resting myself. I'll probably spend part of this 15-minute break actually stepping away from my computer as well in order to get dressed so that I can basically launch myself out the door as soon as the stream's done. Gabe says I made a background, not sure if it'll stay, but I'm getting ready to mood board it up. Excellent. That is excellent progress, especially since backgrounds are really difficult to make. So I am delighted to hear that you have made excellent progress on that graphic so far. Tosha says, I actually spent the sprint catching up with a friend on Blue Sky. I think I failed the writing editing sprint. That's totally okay. Like I said, these sprints can be used for whatever you'd like, including self-care. So if you manage to catch up, that still counts. Sherry says, I feel accomplished. I have decided I may have to do some of my own sketching, though, to get the images I'm looking for. I applaud anybody who uses their own art in a pitch event. So I am very much looking forward to seeing this pitch of yours. I wish you excellent luck with it, by the way. Unless you mean like sketching as in planning out, and because sometimes you just need to thumbnail an image to get a sense of what to look for. But if you mean you're actually doing your own art, I love that. And I will definitely keep an eye out for your posts in this upcoming pitch event. Incidentally, yes. By the way, I am doing. I always do say that I'm doing trade backs, as in, or support swaps. That's what it is. Support swaps, which means I support you, or I make a post wherein I'm like, hey, interact with this post if you want me to take a look at your pitch, and I'll take a look at the pitch. I know that I often take a look at the tag itself as well, but I tend to start chronologically from the very earliest pitches and work my way forward, so I don't always get to pitches that are posted later on in the day, which means that the best way to get me to see your stuff, other than posts like at midnight EST, is to keep an eye out for that one post where I say, hey, let's swap support. But I am swapping support for this one as well, because it is a weekday pitch event, and this week is going to be crazy in terms of work and workload. So definitely keep an eye on that. I am going to, for sure, one way or another, keep up with the people who react to that support post. But I can't guarantee how much tag diving I will actually do on the day of. So, for sure, I am swapping support. Keep an eye out. I'm very excited about this. Sherry says thanks. Gabe says, I got such a bad art block, otherwise I would too. Good luck. Seconded on the good luck for sure. Sherry says, yes, my own art. I am delighted for that. I wish I had enough art skills to draw more than just cute little bees. I mean, I should probably practice so I can actually improve, but anyway. We're just vibing on this Saturday morning. That's all. But I might be distracted by blue sky right now. I think this is what people call doom scrolling. But I'm looking at blue sky, and I don't know. Is it just me, or do some people think that sex is an important part of books? Like, I am. Don't get me wrong. I'm all for the fact that we need to fight back against puritanical ideas of what literature should be. So I am also delighted that we are that we have the option of being very sexual in our books, but at the same time, it's like no, it's like I'm just tired of seeing. Yeah, I need to make my characters need to be horny all the time, and I'm like, my ice ass is like, I am over here, and I'm like, I really hope that you guys are not looking for spice in this book. Just, I don't know, like, I've been looking at I've been listening to booktubers who would talk about spice as like a highlight of the book, as in like an actual rateable category that's should be standard. And I'm looking at posts on Right Sky where it's sort of like you need to have horny characters, horny sapphics, and horny characters in general. And I'm like, it's good that we have the option, but to say that it's a requirement and to create an environment where we're all just looking for sex is also kind of like it gives me the weird vibe as an ace person. Like, there's a specific vibe that I get in queer spaces, which is why I don't often participate in solely online queer spaces where you have to be a certain thing in order to be a member. So there is a lot of ace phobia in a lot of online queer communities. Uh, so it's the problem is when you're saying that sex is a requirement is and it's even irritating because like then you have ace people who are like the exclusion of aces is factually incorrect because some aces like sex. And I'm like, that's not the fucking point. Okay, I sister brothers and sisters, I am delighted that you're standing up for our end of the community, but you also don't fucking need sex. There is such a thing as sex repulsed asexuals, and I feel like while at the same time it is terrible that we get stereotyped as being the prudes, and we get muscled out of communities because how dare we not like sex, quote unquote. And while it is true that not all asexuals are sex repulsed, I also think that the bigger statement we should be making is that queerness should not completely hinge on sex. Like, sex is not an essential experience of human existence. It is only like I've read comments where it was like, yes, to allosexuals, sex and intimacy are vital to a relationship because it is human contact, is a specific type of human contact and love language, and if they don't get it, then that's about as bad as any other form of neglect. So I'm not saying that sex is not an essential part of human experience to some people. However, it is not universally an essential part of human experience, and I'm so fucking tired of people saying that it is. And we're seeing a lot of that in book spaces, where sex is supposedly essential to adult literature, and I'm like, it shouldn't be. You should be able to have a book that is for adults or intended for adult audiences in ways that have nothing to do with sex. We were just fine for hundreds upon hundreds of years without a lot or without every single book having sex in it, and that's just my opinion. I don't know. That having been said, let me see what the chat said now that I've dropped that hot take. Taisha says my story has no sex as much as some beta readers wanted a few of the characters to ship, huh? Like, I prefer not having sex because for a couple of reasons. One of them is because I'm a sex repulsed asexual, and for another, because I want to leave space for y'all. Like, why should I write it when fandom does it better, or when you should be able to have the space to write spice if you want it, and you should have the ability to write spice in fan fiction that is self-indulgent. But I am writing literature to tell the story. That said, Gabe says, I'll admit that I do incorporate spice in my story's romance, but I don't think it's essential. It's a personal taste thing, right? Cryptic says, I'm almost never looking for spice, to be honest. Or if I am, I'm looking for very specific things that are very obviously about the spice. Same here, honestly. Like, I'm not looking for spice at all. And when I don't even know what I would want if I ever wanted spice, because not to get TMI, but I do have urges myself. However, I don't go looking for that in lit because I'm very uncomfortable reading it. So, Taisha says, I'm not looking for spice in what I read, but I also won't not read something because it has spice, so either way. Or at least to clarify, I will read spice, but 9 times out of 10, I will scroll through, essentially. When I get to a spicy scene, I'll probably read a little bit. I'm like, yeah, nah, I'm not in the mood for it, and I just keep on going. But, like, that's why it's not essential to me, and that's why I don't really care if people have spice in their books. It is not a selling point for me, and I still do not think that it's essential. Gabe says, "I'll admit I only want to read those kinds of scenes in queer books because oftentimes in straight romances I feel dysmorphic because of the vibe, language, words commonly used in that scenes." That might also be it. Like the last Spice novel that I read was straight. Oh, fuck! It is another sprint, so I will finish this up. Gabe says, "Cryptic, same. I have a very particular taste." So yeah, it's complicated for sure. Uh, but yeah, maybe I should just write or read more queer spice and see if that does it for me. But other than that, yeah, it is not essential. I'm so tired of it being talked about as if it was essential. And that is it. But that having been said, we are into our next sprint. So less than 20 on the clock. I will shut up now. Good luck. All right, that is one more sprint. How did we do? I did a mixture of editing and writing once more, and I've hit 752 words altogether, which isn't bad. That having been said, it is currently 10:30, so I will have to ask. We can stop here because traditionally these are 3 sprint runs. Or if we're feeling up for it, I think I have time to do one more. But I do have to be out the door by 11:30 very latest, unfortunately, because I have to get to the pharmacy before it closes at 1:30. But that having been said, let me know if you want to go for one more sprint, or if you are a-okay with us ending it on 3 sprints. If you are a-okay, I will read off the schedule and we can wrap this up. Or if you want to try for one more, we can do one more. Either one. Having been said, Gabe says I axed the original background idea, but we're really cooking now. Excellent, excellent. I am really looking forward to seeing what your graphics look like. You're putting a lot of work into this, and I know that you are handy with graphics, so it's going to look so pretty, especially since I know what your story is about as well. So Uh, let's see. Cryptic says, I got the dishes done and now I'm working on stripping the bed so I can put fresh sheets on after my shower. I'll probably have to dip partway through if we do another, but I don't mind that. Oh, I envy people with who have the ability to just do laundry whenever. I have yet to wash. I know it sounds disgusting, but whenever you're living in a building that has only 4 washers that you all have to pay for, and that some of which are like broken down so often, or somebody fills with fucking chips or food for some reason, then it's really difficult to do laundry. So I just tend to do the necessities, but I do envy that. But in any case, uh, Sherry says, I'm good. I have to get up and do some chores. Tasha says, distracted by kids, so little was accomplished, so I'll probably be heading out soon. So in that case, why don't we say that? Why don't we call it at 3? 3 sprints. So that having been said, let me read off the schedule for this week. As usual, there will be another night rights, and that will be on the 25th. Yes, Wispit Day. Gabe says, no judgment here. When I lived in Maine, I only went to the laundromat at max once a month because the prices were insane. I am lucky to not have to walk out of the building in order, but I would definitely not do laundry more than a month at a time if I had to walk and do it at a laundromat. Even if that laundromat was like just down the street, like a couple blocks away. I absolutely not. I'm sorry. But Gabe says, I'm fine with 3. This was fun. Excellent. So, yes, night rates at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So, take this stream and put it 12 hours into the future, essentially. And you have a night rates. That will be our next one will be happening on the 25th. And it will for sure be happening unless something like last week happens and I get depressed again. But, considering that was a one-off, I think we'll be doing another stream on the 25th. 90%, 99% sure. But if you can't make a night rights, the next tea rights will be Saturday morning on the 28th. That is the last day of February, so be sure to check us out. That also having been said, let's talk about special streams. Now, as you know, tomorrow I will be sticking around at home all day. So, will I wake up early and do another tea rights? Will I be doing a night rights? Most likely, if I do one of those, it will probably be a night rights. And we'll see. It'll really depend on how I'm feeling later on in the day. Or tomorrow morning. We'll see. But either way, keep an eye on my Blue Sky, jackswolfwrites.bsky.social. I do not do any announcements on YouTube. I don't use the community feature. What even is it? So all announcements are made on my Blue Sky. Hit the bell if you want to receive notifications, but be warned that I do spam a lot. Cryptic can tell you whether or not I get annoying in your notifications if I do that. But in all seriousness, keep an eye on my Blue Sky. If I do any special announcements, the one that will most likely happen will be tomorrow because I'm basically rooted in place. I do not fucking move for a blizzard. I'm sorry. I don't fuck around with gale force winds. Nope, nope, nope. For the rest of the week, however, is going to be a busy week, so I will not be doing anything outside of the normal streams that, again, 25th, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and Saturday the 28th, same time as this one, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If definitely drop in. I love having you guys. Thank you also for coming to this one. I'm sorry that wasn't super productive, quote unquote, for a lot of you, but remember, self-care is still productivity, and it's still very important to the entire writing process. So you all did excellent jobs today. I'm very proud of all of you. Taisha says, stay warm and safe over in the NYC area. Thanks for hosting and happy writing editing, everyone. That I will second. Stay warm and safe. To anybody else listening who's on the Eastern Seaboard, that includes you, Gabe. Stay safe and warm. And if you're out west and the weather is mild, enjoy it. But also, I am envious. Just know that. Sherry says this was fun. I'm so glad to hear that. And also, welcome again to Tea Rights. I hope that this is the first of many times I will see you. If not, is what is. But I was delighted to see you here and delighted to talk with you. Uh, Gabe says you stay safe too. Thanks for hosting. And thank you for coming. Thank you all for coming. And of course, outside of staying safe for the winter weather, make sure that y'all take care of yourselves. I second the happy writing that Tasha mentioned. But know that I love you. Stay hydrated. Take care of yourselves. And I will see you the next stream. Bye, guys.